Welcome at Enjoy Your Money With.
Jaco Kudraat. Prof, great to be with you in the studio again. And Prof, every month I tell myself, this month I'm going to stick to my budget. But then, Prof, all these coffee shops and Takealot, they personally attack me.
Jaco, I thought you were more fit than that so that you can run away from the temptation.
It's difficult, Prof, it's difficult.
But Jaco, that is exactly what today's topic and bias is all about. We are going to talk about self-control bias.
So are we talking diets today, Prof?
Yeah, I think you can make it applicable on diets as well. Jaco, and it's one of the more practical behavioral biases because often we know we should save more, we should reduce debt, we should budget properly, we should prepare for retirement or perhaps diet. But the problem is knowing what to do and doing it consistently are two totally different things.
Prof, I have a question for you now. So is this a bias or is this just normal human nature? Just asking.
Jaco, all these biases are just normal human nature that we need to manage.
Okay. But this one feels even more so to me.
No, Jaco, it's real for all of us. And because we have said it over the past few weeks, we live in a world of online shopping, instant payments, credit cards on you, social media, advertising, telling you about all the latest and best stuff. And then I must also say, I think one of the other things is that we also live in a time where it may be economically stressing, and then we need something to soothe our emotions.
So we spend because to soothe our emotions. Is that what you say?
That's actually
again. It
what's
sounds
happening.
like the diet spot. You get people that eat too much when they're emotionally. Let's call it. There's emotional eating, and then I guess then you get emotional spending.
Jaco, unfortunately, but the sad thing about emotional spending is. An hour after you have bought the item, you already feel regret again. Then you feel even worse.
It's similar to emotional eating, Prof. and for both of them, it's a problem. You can't do anything to change it now. It's done. So
yeah. No, it's water under the bridge. And Jaco, and linked to that is the thing about self-control is about short-term and long-term. And you have said it many times before, to watch an investment grow is like watching paint dry.
Yeah, it's not fun. And I think that's the whole, for me, the concept of this bias is exactly that. It takes self-control to actually not do the fun things and do the boring things. And it's not nice not to do the fun things, Prof.
It is not nice, Jaco. And trading economics, their statistics late 2025 show exactly this. That South African households has, and I'm glad you are sitting, a negative 1.4% savings rate. So that means that they actually spend 1.4% more every month than what they earn.
Yeah, that's scary. So, and we all know that obviously that will not be sustainable.
Jaco, that cannot be sustainable.
But the thing is, people want to improve their financial situation. They like you said, they know the right stuff. And the things we hear people say is, next month I'll save, next year I'll start investing. Not now, just wait for this.
It's like we are back at that one-day aisle that we talked about the previous time.
Yeah, and once things calm down, I'll focus on retirement. So it's all this one day win.
Yeah. So it's not because, again, why? Because we are stupid. It's just because in this case, we really lack the self-control to do the good things, that New Year's resolutions that we decided on.
Prof, on that deep note, let's take a quick break. And after that, we'll talk more about self-control bias.
Welcome back after the break. We are talking self-control bias, mostly from the financial point of view. So if you are just tuned in and you think, what on earth are the Jacos talking about? It's still on behavioral finance.
But it's also related to diets. We have decided.
We have decided that already.
But before we get to the to the bias, let's just see what the Bible has to say. Prof, is it Solomon again?
There's unfortunately not a Solomon today in the mix.
No, Solomon, just actually Paul today.
So, Jaco, my Bible verse for today comes from Galatians 6 verse 9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up.
Yeah, Prof, that is beautiful.
He's almost as clever as
Solomon. It's beautiful. Okay. And then mine is Romans 7 verse 19. And I think sometimes, I know, it's dangerous to quote one verse out of the Bible. It's easy to take it out of context, but I have to admit, when I read through the text before, and we said before, we do prepare sometimes, this is actually just came up to me where Paul says, for I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. We know the right stuff. We know what to do. But we just keep on doing, unfortunately, the wrong things. And I know that it's a bit out of context, but I think there's some relevance there for me anyway, Prof.
No, definitely. Jaco, so on that note, I want to invite you, please go and visit our website, www.jaco2.co.za. There you will find links to our previous YouTube videos, all the nonsense that me and Jaco did, our latest podcasts, the links to our recorded Live FM episodes. And of course, you can go to Spotify, SoundCloud, look for Live FM, and then enjoy your money. And lastly, every week we invite you to please send us your comments or suggestions for episodes to 066 516 6917. That's the Live FM WhatsApp line, and you can send us a voice note or a text.
Yeah, and I have to say, unfortunately, Prof, we don't get a lot of reaction there. We're actually quite disappointed that the two persons that listen, please, won't you send us a message?
Yeah, last week I had to go and get some tissues just so that Jaco can calm down during the break.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it, I have to admit. So Prof, that is now, is there something else admin-wise? Because this feels to me like admin.
No, Jaco. Now we can get our hands dirty with self-control.
Okay, let's talk about self-control. So who is it this time, Prof? Is it your friend Mikey or is it Danny? Uncle Danny?
No, Jaco, I'm still with Michael Pompian because he classified the biases as cognitive and emotional and self-control bias. We are now busy with the emotional biases.
And just to refresh your memories, the emotional biases are the more difficult ones to do something because it's so emotional, whereas the other ones are cognitive and it's our thought process, and it's almost easier to adjust that. Whereas our emotions, as I said right at the beginning, it feels to me, this is not emotional, this is just human nature. I mean, that's what Paul also says.
Exactly. And Jaco, simple explanation, people struggle to prioritize long-term financial goals over short-term gratification because getting something now is just so much more fun.
And like we also said, it's not fun to save. It's not fun to invest because very little happens for a long time.
Yeah, Jaco, and this bias is also sometimes called present bias or hyperbolic discounting.
Sure.
Now, I'm not going to try and explain that, but what it means.
But Prof, can we just stop there quickly? I mean, tonight or this weekend, if you stand around the braaivleis fire, there's a word for you. We don't know what it means either, okay? But nobody else is going to know. But
it's at least a nice word.
It's a nice word, so use it. Hyperbolic discounting. So it sounds like something with investments to do. So,
Jaco, I think it links to the first part of the meaning, and that is that present rewards feel emotionally much more powerful. So that which is closer to us has a higher value, and future rewards feel distant and abstract. So, and that's why when you buy that new TV today, you feel exciting. But when you think about retirement, wow, that's
for old
20,
people.
25 years in the That I'll get to it someday.
Yeah, that's next year's worry.
Yeah. But Jaco, I want to share this with you and the listeners. And it was actually an experiment that I saw and read about long before I got involved with behavioral finance. And that is the marshmallow experiment they did on children in the USA. Now, I know these days with all the ethics, you can probably not do experiments as you wish on children. But they did the
Prof,
marshmallow
did you bring
experiment.
marshmallows to the studio today?
I actually wanted to, and I
You
forgot.
should have.
I had no self-control.
You had self-control. You didn't buy it.
Perhaps, let's say that was it. So, Jaco, what they did is they got a bunch of kids in a room, and then they put marshmallows on the table, one for each. And they told them, you can take this marshmallow immediately at any time, or you can wait until the end of the session, and then you will get 2 marshmallows. And many children, Jaco, couldn't wait. They decided to rather have the one than wait for the 2.
Prof, I think there's a part of maybe instant gratification involved here, but maybe these children just understood the concept of time value of money. And they were not sure that these adults are going to keep to their word and give them the 2. So there's a saying, a
bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush.
Exactly. So they understood that. So I think there's some, you're the expert on research, but I think there's some limitations to this experiment.
I've now not read all the control variables and everything that they did on the experiment. But what I do know is that they later followed up on the children to see where they ended up in life. And those who were able to wait for the 2 marshmallows had better long-term outcomes in many areas of their life. And that, for me, is the amazing part of this research.
Yeah, Prof, I have to say, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I know where I would have fallen when I was a child. I would not have eaten the first marshmallow. When I was small, I used to put the sweets I got in my cupboard and hide it away there and left it there for the ants to eat. But that was not the plan, but it did happen sometimes.
Well, I must say, I think I would also have been able to wait. It's almost like when I was in school and they were trying to tell me, you cannot do this, you're not good enough for this, or at university when they told us at the hostel, we are going to work you out. We just want the cream of the crop left in the hostel. And then I decided, I'll show you, I can stay.
Prof, I think it's something else. I think it's more to do with just our boring personalities. so maybe there's a link between people willing to wait and not worry too much about excitement, because we as excited as we will ever be, aren't we?
Unfortunately, I think so. But Jaco, you just now let me think that maybe it's also because we are greedy. And long before we understood percentages, but that was actually 100% return for waiting.
Yeah.
Jaco, so we have said it before, we are naturally wired to seek comfort, pressure, relief, and
pleasure, not
pleasure.
Not pressure.
Pleasure. And immediate rewards. And therefore we tend to not have that much self-control. And also what comes from the research is that when we are in periods of stress and anxiety, it actually worsens our self-control.
Okay. I must say that makes sense to me, even for me as an accountant. And I'm sure now we're going to get to your friend.
Yes, of course, Daniel Kahneman. We have talked about the System 1 and System 2 thinking, and System 1 is the emotional, fast thinking, and that's especially the one that fight and flight reactions, that also kicks in when we are under stress. Sorry, Jaco.
So, Prof, what you're telling me and the listeners is that sometimes financial problems are actually rather behavioral problems than financial problems.
Jaco, unfortunately, it actually is. And to be honest, in many instances, the financial problems that we have has more to do with bad decisions and behavior than with the actual finances. Jaco, I see the time is already catching us. I just want to, I must share some more statistics just with the listeners.
Do that.
So our South African study that we did showed that 1 out of 4 people acknowledge having this bias. So it was not that many.
Prof, I'm actually surprised with this. I really believed, just when I read through the information and as we talk, I actually felt that this is one that actually would be much more relevant. I mean, if you say how little South Africans are saving and stuff, I would have expected it a bit higher.
I almost would also, Jaco. But what was very, very clear was that self-control was negatively linked to savings and budgeting. So if you don't have self-control, you don't budget, you don't save. People with low self-control used more credit, and then it was especially individuals and people with lower education levels that showed lower self-control.
Yeah, and that was actually, one would expect the opposite, but maybe it's got something to do with stress. I don't know.
Perhaps. But Jaco, I think we must take a quick music break. Welkom terug na die breek.
Ja, daai doodse stilte en toe hopelik
iemand het 'n knoppie te vinnig gedruk.
Ja, nee, jy is bietjie haastig. Maar in 'n geval, ons praat vandag, prof, ek gaan dit sê want dit is 'n maklike een. Selfbeheer vooroordeel. Dis 'n maklike een. En eintlik die gebrek aan selfbeheer neem ek aan eerder, maar ek meen hulle praat maar net van self-control bias of selfbeheer vooroordeel.
Jaco, ek is baie trots op jou en dankie dat jy my in die diep kant ingooi en dan kies jy vinnig die maklikes vir jou.
Ja, prof, waarom iets doen.
So, maar ek gaan nou die favor return en ek gaan jou weer 'n paar vragies vra, Jaco.
Prof, ek hou van hierdie vrae, dit is nie te moeilik nie. Dis nie eksperimente nie, maar ek sou gewag het hoor vir die marshmallows.
Jaco, spandeer jy dikwels
die sagte malva lekkers.
Jaco, jou mond se, ek sien jou mond sit in water hierso en dis waarskynlik hoe jy nou jou gedagtes van die marshmallows af kan kry.
Malva lekkers. Hoe kan jy nie vir ons malva lekkers kan studio toe gebring nie? Atelier toe gebring nie.
So, Jaco, kan jy wag vir goed wat moet gebeur?
Ek kan wag, maar ek wil nou 'n marshmallow hê.
So, Jaco, spandeer jy dikwels meer as wat jy beplan het?
Prof, ek dink dit hang of mense dit wil behoort. Ek dink die antwoord is partykeer beplan ek nie so mooi nie en dan onderskat mens wat jy dink iets gaan kos, so aan daai opsig ja, maar ek dink nie sommer as ek weet dis wat ek moet uitgee dan gee ek dit uit. Ek sal nie sommer oor dit gaan nie.
So Jaco, sou jy sê jy sukkel om by 'n begroting dan te hou?
Nee, wat ek dink hom nie so nie.
Jaco, is jou aftrede beplanning op datum? Is jy besig om genoeg weg te sit?
Ek weet nie, ek sal my adviseur moet vra. Wat dink jy, prof?
Jaco, ek kan daarom sê jy luister na die advies.
Okay, nee, ek dink ek is alright daar.
Jaco, koop jy soms goed om jou beter te laat voel?
Prof, as jy emosioneel onintelligent is soos ek, het jy nie daai probleem dat jy jou emosies hoef onder beheer te bring met sulke dinge nie. So ek is nog een van die voordele van emosionele onintelligensie. Jy het nie vriende nie en jy dink jy koop nie emosionele, ja.
Jaco, ek moet sê, dalk het jy nou net hier vir my bewys dat ek is nie emosioneel onintelligent nie.
Maar jy is ook nie so intelligent soos jy dink jy is nie. Emosioneel
emosioneel. Ek hou nogal daarvan om te gaan inkopies doen wanneer ek 'n bietjie down is. Dis vir my terapeuties, Jaco, om deur die rakke te stap, deur die winkels te stap.
Ja, ek haat 'n winkel.
Dis hoekom ek baie keer volunteer om vir my vrou die inkopies te gaan doen. Dis regtig vir my terapeuties.
Ons gaan nou by iets anders kom, sal ek iets daaroor sê.
So, Jaco, kom ons kyk gou net na nog 'n paar praktiese voorbeelde waar ons hierdie selfbeheersingsvooroordeel sien uitspeel. En een van die wat ons raak lees in die literatuur is wat ons noem lewenstylinflasie. Nou dis nou Jaco, toe jy begin werk het as 'n klerk, kan jy onthou wat se salaris het jy verdien?
Ek kan onthou, ek het R3000 'n maand gekry, na belasting daarom.
Okay, so
dit was ook toe die dooie seun nog siek was, né?
En waar het jy gebly?
Ek het geloseer by mense.
Sê.
Ja.
So, maar wat nou gebeur, Jaco, is en daai is nou nog dalk miskien goed en dan kry jy nou 'n bietjie bevordering en so aan en dan kan jy daarna 'n huis koop. Maar dan wat ons baie keer sien is soos wat mense dan nou nog salarisverhogings kry, dan besef hulle maar ons het nou 'n bietjie ekstra per maand en in plaas daarvan om dit te spaar en te belê, dan gaan koop ons groter huise, duurder huise, groter voertuie en ons gaan nou luukse rit vakansies.
En prof, en ons het dit al baie gesê, as ons kyk na as ons kursusse aanbied oor persoonlike finansies, dan sê ons vir ons aan die begin van die werkswinkel vir mense, wat sal hulle finansiële situasie verander? En meeste se antwoord is meer geld.
Yep.
Maar as ons dan dieselfde vraag aan die einde van die werkswinkel vra, dan besef die mense, maar die probleem is nie die inkomste nie, die probleem is my gedrag. En hierdie sluit vir my daarbey aan, is ons pas ons lewenstyl aan sonder om eers die goed wat belangrik is aan te spreek.
Dis absoluut so, Jaco. En die tweede ding wat ons ook al oor gepraat het is impulsiewe aankope. Want dit laat jou goed voel, so jy weet eintlik is dit nie die regte ding nie, maar jy trek maar jou kredietkaart en dan hoop jy die finansiële probleme gaan verdwyn of iewers in die toekoms gaan daardie skuld wonderbaarlik verdwyn.
En is so maklik vandag, prof. Ek meen aanlyn kredietkaarte, al daai goed. En ons het al gepraat oor ons het ons geldpersoonlikhede wat mense het ons al gesê, sekere geldpersoonlikheid behoort nie 'n kredietkaart te hê nie. En ek wil amper sê, as jy sukkel met selfbeheer, vooroordeel, is jy waarskynlik ook 'n persoon wat eerder nie 'n kredietkaart moet hê nie.
Ek dink so, Jaco, want dieselfde rede wat ons maak om impulsiewe inkopies te maak, is daardie goed waarvoor ons geld spandeer om ons stres te hanteer, om ons beter te laat voel. Maar ek het reeds daarna verwys, dit is ongelukkig net tydelik. Die skuld bly langer en as daar nou iets is wat meer boring is as 'n belegging wat groei, dan is dit om skuld af te betaal.
Ja, nee, dit is aaklig.
Want jy het klaar die pret gehad.
Ja, en nou betaal jy die prys daarvoor. En prof, weer eens, dit sluit by ons voorbeeld aan wat ons vroeër gepraat het oor 'n dieet. Dit is eintlik maar dieselfde, né? As jy oortree en jy eet nou iets wat jy nie moes nie, jy het nou klaar geëet, nou moet jy harder oefen om af te kry en dit was lekker vir daai 2 minute wat jy geëet het. Maar jy voel so simpel na die tyd so.
Ek het om die waarheid te sê, ek het ergens eendag 'n artikel gelees wat hulle gesê het, om een van die maniere om hierdie goed aan te spreek is, jy moet vir jouself elke keer baie duidelik vertel, hoe het jy die vorige keer gevoel toe jy op 'n korttermyn instink gereageer het. Jaco, dan, ons sien dit veral ook by aftreebeplanning, dis hoekom net 6% mense in Suid-Afrika finansiëel onafhanklik kan aftree, want dis altyd nog ver in die toekoms en ons dink ons gaan iewerste opvang en ons vergeet eintlik dat tyd ons grootste bate is.
Ja, en nou is tog belangriker as die toekoms en dis die probleem.
Net so. En dan die laaste praktiese ding waar ons dit sien is Jaco, net krediet gebruik, want dis baie maklik en dit is hoekom Suid-Afrikaners 1.4% meer kan uitgee as wat hulle verdien.
Ja, en ek meen die finansiële instellings maak dit nie moeilik vir ons nie, hulle maak dit maklik. Ek dink ek het al hier gedeel, maar ek gereeld aan bel die kredietverskaffer en sê, jy is tog so 'n goeie kliënt en ons is so trots op jou dat jy jou krediet so mooi bestuur, kan ons jou kredietkaartlimiet verhoog? Dan sê ek, nee dankie, sal jy asseblief verlaag? O nee, ons kan dit nie telefonies doen nie, jy moet 'n ander nommer skakel en ek weet nie wat se nonsens alles nie. So, krediet is maklik om te kry, dis moeilik om weg te vat.
Absoluut. Jaco, so kom ons praat gou-gou, ons tyd haal ons alweer in, oor praktiese stappe om hierdie vooroordeel aan te spreek. Nommer 1 dink ek is outomatiseer jou spaargeld. Teken 'n debietorder vir daardie uitreaniteit vir jou spaarfondse, behoort aan jou werk se pensioenfonds as jy so gelukkig is om een te hê, want al die navorsing wys vir ons dat daai outomatiese spaar is op die langtermyn die beste.
Prof, en daar's baie boeke wat ook het sê jy betaal jouself eerste, nie ander mense nie. Jy moet dit amper soos belasting sien. Jy het nie 'n keuse nie, jy betaal dit en kry klaar en dit wat oor is.
Dis nie jou geld gewees om mee te begin. Ja. Alhoewel ek weet ons sê betaal jouself eerste, maar dis vir jou geld om te spandeer.
Nee, dis jou geld vir die toekoms. Dis jou toekomstige geld of jou se geld.
Net so. Jaco, en dan mens moet 'n realistiese begroting gebruik. Nie 'n droombegroting nie. Ek sê altyd vir mense die een wat jy dink mees waarskynlikste is om te gaan uitloop en dan moet jy jou uitgawes daarteenoor monitor. En Jaco, wat ons nou al 'n hele paar keer hieroor gesê het, is jy moet konsentreer op jou langtermyn doelwitte, hou dit in gedagte en 'n onafhanklike persoon van buite wat nie saam met jou in hierdie prentjie is nie, is waarskynlik die beste om jou op koers te hou.
So prof, alweer bemark jy die finansiële adviseurs. Jy weet, ek het niks van finansiële adviseurs gehou voordat ek en jy daarna begin kyk.
Jy weet, ek ook nie.
so kan jy, as jy nou lief vir jouself, prof.
Jaco, mens moet ook lief wees vir jouself.
Prof, voor ons nou by die boere som kom, vir my is eintlik die les uit vandag. Ons nou baie goedjies gepraat, maar die grootste finansiële waarde kom nie van ingewikkelde beleggings en slim planne nie. Maar dit kom van eenvoudige, goeie gewoontes wat konsekwent herhaal word.
Jaco,
dis diep, hè?
Jy het hom nou diep gaan haal vandag. Ek is so trots op jou. Gewoonlik is dit ek wat dit moet doen, maar jy het jou goed van jou taak gekwyt.
Okay. So prof, het jy 'n boeresom vir die episode?
Ek sal jy nie nadat die jingle daar's.
Was ek bietjie vinnig op die knoppie.
Iemand was alweer vinnig op die knoppie. Jaco, ek wil die luisteraars uitdaag, gaan praat hierdie week bietjie oor julle finansiële gewoontes in die gesin. Wees bietjie eerlik teenoor mekaar oor wie's die wat baie maklik emosioneel inkopies doen.
Jy moet net nie vir jou vrou sê sy's emosioneel nie.
Nee. En ja, wees bietjie openlik en eerlik oor mekaar en dan hou julle mekaar vir die week verantwoordelik om 'n bietjie meer selfbeheersing toe te pas.
So op daai emosionele selfbeheersende punt, lekker week vir julle.
Lekker week.